beautiful day, a beautiful Monday here in the tri-state area. Wherever you are, this is Esports Extra live here on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube. It's the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube. We're talking traditional sports and, of course, esports as well. We'll take your phone calls, 877-853-5247. That meeting ID, Esports Extra. That's 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. Larry Ridley here, SNY TV, Sportsnet New York, home of the Mets, a little NBC Sports, Madden NFL, a little NBA 2K League as well. Got a great panel here on a Monday. We typically don't work on a Monday, but as Drake likes to say, we're working on a weekend as usual. This is a weekend for us. Got a lot of things going on Sundays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but this is a special edition of Esports Extra. Let's bring in Renee Montgomery, two-time WNBA champ. She is the queen to be.
Were y'all singing last show?
No, we weren't. We only sing when you're here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I like that. Loyalty, loyalty, loyalty.
Yep.
Got Derwin Worrell, fellow TV sportscaster, NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. Derwin, where Brooklyn at?
You're right here. It's pouring rain outside, like it's coming down sideways, but the rain has stopped, and I guess we could talk a little about the big news of the day, and that is Cam Newton is all over my feed on Facebook.
Wait, we didn't get any rain over here in Jersey, man. I like it.
It's sunny. Pouring, coming down sideways.
Dude, the only thing separating us is just the river, the Hudson. That's it. So it's crazy that you're literally like less than 10 miles away and it's raining cats and dogs. Let's bring in a new member here, Antonio Williams. Young man, played basketball. Where did he play? Brandeis up in Boston?
Yeah, yes, sir. Played at Brandeis University.
Yes, sir. Okay, can you park the car? Have you been to Fenway Park? You ever hung out in Dorchester?
All of the above, especially working in baseball operations and scouting for the Red Sox. Lots of trips to Fenway Park, as you would say.
Yes, you got to park the car.
Larry loves to show off his accent. He loves it.
You know why? Because when I worked in Boston, you can't do it. They will get mad at you. I'm not there. Now I get to kind of show it off a little bit.
Especially if you're not native to the soil, they'll get mad.
All right. He ain't lying.
So if they watch this, they won't feel any type of way because you're just not there, or how is that gonna?
Yeah, because I'm removed, and they're like, "Oh, we had fond memories of him. He earned his stripes. He
okay.
Years." Antonio, you did a little stuff in the NBA too. Worked in the league office here in New York, NYC area, also with the Phoenix Suns. Tell us a little bit about your background in about 30 seconds, broski.
Yeah, so done a lot of things in sports. Again, after I left Brandeis, went to the league office, worked in WNBA basketball ops and a little NBA basketball ops as well. So did that, came back to Boston, worked for the Red Sox, then did some work at ESPN and basketball as an analyst, scout, writer, went to Nike and worked in sports marketing there, college basketball, and then went to the Phoenix Suns. Actually, I take that back. I actually worked and led a basketball division for a major financial management company. And that entailed recruiting, all of the things that you need to do to make sure that not only once you attain the wealth, that you grow it as well and make it generational. And then went to the Phoenix Suns and worked in scouting and player personnel. So been around this thing a lot, and I appreciate you all having me for sure.
Wow.
And you've been all over the place. What was your favorite? Where are you now? You're in Dallas.
Impressive.
What's your favorite stop? You're like me. You're a nomad, but we're sort of used to that in the sports business.
Well, I haven't been able to get out to the West Coast to work yet. That's where I'm from. So would like to get out there at some point. I'm getting closer from Boston, from New York, Boston, then Chicago, and now Dallas. So, but my favorite spot working-wise was probably living in Chicago because I worked in a number of different capacities when I was there. The only thing I didn't like is when the hawk comes, when it gets to late October, early November. Yeah, it's being a West Coast guy.
Right.
Yeah, it takes its toll on you for sure.
Lake effect, baby. Absolutely.
No question.
In the shot. Good
but
stuff.
It's a great city, great sports city. You know,
absolutely.
For college and professional sports. And it's one of the few cities in the country, at least major cities, that's a hub for both. Because you're right there in Big Ten country. And then also, too, you know, they're crazy about their professional teams there as well. So from a sports perspective, it's a good place to be.
All right, let's go ahead and dive in, man. Welcome aboard, Antonio Williams. We'll call him A-Dubs, and then we got D-Dubs on the other side. So welcome to the two brothers with last names, surnames beginning with W. We're going to start with Cam to the Pats. We'll get with NBA jerseys. They're doing some stuff with that as well. The NBA opt-outs, we'll talk about a couple more guys opting out. Also, a couple of baseball players that were announced today as well. Actually, about three of them as well. Joakim Noah going to the Clippers. We'll talk about that. Rudy Gobert, the latest with him. Of course, he was the first NBA player to test positive for COVID-19. Willie Colon, a colleague of mine at SNY here, does the Jets pre and post game show and all of our Jets shows. He'll join us here live on the phone. He'll call in around 7:30. We'll be on the lookout for that. We'll talk to Jamal Adams, Sam Darnold, the AFC East, how that's shaping up. Also, we'll get into a little bit of HBCUs, Morehouse football, not going to have a season this year. We'll talk about that. The Civil War, we'll talk about the proper usage of that. I guess you can't use it at all anymore.
Right.
Not out there in the Pacific Northwest. The National Women's Soccer League, NWSL, some pretty good stuff with them this weekend, showing some support for the Black Lives Matter movement, something that's really dear right now to Renee's heart. We'll get into that. Good Trouble, the movie coming out Friday, our stream, the Celebrity HBCU Takeover in 6 days on Sunday. We'll talk about that. Extra Life, we got an NBA and 2K tournament coming up that we want to promote as well. We'll be talking about that, and then Compete Forever on Black News Channel. This past week, we had our NBA 2K event, the first one that aired nationally on Black News Channel. This week, we're back to Madden with the Catskills Challenge at Resorts World Casino in the Catskills of Monticello, New York. All right, guys, let's start. NFL, Cameron Newton. We were talking about it. I talked about it a couple of months ago. I tweeted about it. Man, I think he'd be great with the Patriots. And here he is. He's going to New England. Belichick doing a Belichickian thing, always getting things in the clearance rack, if you will. I saw it with Randy Moss. I saw it with Corey Flynn. You name it, Chad Johnson, Albert Haynes, all these guys, exactly. Chad Johnson, all those guys. Let's talk about this move. Do you like it? Cam Newton, QB1, no pun intended, up in Boston at Foxborough. Do you guys like this move here? Belichick, the hoodie, and Cam Newton. We'll start with you, Renee Montgomery. You've got 3 titles. We have none.
No, so I always, when athletes make a choice, I always like it because if they choose to go there, they chose to go there. So you kind of have to roll with if that was his choice. It does seem like the Patriots, boy, they seem to always just swoop in, and everybody's talking about something else, and then it's like he signed with the Pats.
Little shiny thing over here.
Yeah, it always happens. So my guy is Randy Moss, West Virginia 304. Stand up, Rand University. So I have like a little love for the Pats in that aspect because of him going there. But they just always seem to just snack up.
Man, and Durbin, let me bring you in here, man. The Pats had less than $1 million in salary cap space, but they get them for the league minimum, and with incentives, it can get up to about 7.5. Look, man, Belichick does it again. He's won 11 games with Matt Castle, won 2 games, went undefeated with Jimmy Garoppolo. Hell, he even went 1-1 with Jacoby Brissett. Man, if he stays healthy, they're going to win the AFC East for the 12th straight year. What say you?
I wouldn't go that far. But I would say
they won 11 games with Matt Castle, right? You know that, right?
Yeah, and Matt Castle.
Matt Castle better than Cam Newton? Don't say that. Don't do that.
No,
don't do that.
I thought Matt Castle stole money for Kansas City. I don't think he was ever that good.
So if he can win 11 games with Matt Castle, you don't think they can win 11 or 10 or 11 with Cam Newton?
Well, first off, who said Cam Newton's starting? Cam Newton doesn't know the. Stop. See.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love when this happens.
There you go.
Time out. See, you like everybody else on my Facebook feed, my Twitter feed. Everybody assumes that this guy is just going to come in and he doesn't know the offense. Everything has changed. We got COVID going on. He doesn't know the offense. They got a kid there instead of who they.
Is that always your? Is that always your?
Would you let me
they
finish?
They don't know the offense. Like,
would you let me?
Tom Brady doesn't know the Bucs offense, but
hold up and let me make my point. First off, this is a win-win for the Patriots. It's a win-win for Cam Newton as well. Everybody wins with this because for the Patriots, they're not paying him anything. He's not getting paid anything. Sure. The 2 other quarterbacks, Brian Hoyer and Jarrett Stidham, they're not paying those guys. Stidham's making $675,000.
They're paying Brady more than all 3 of them combined.
Exactly. So
Brady's counting at least 13.5 against the cap this year.
Yeah, they're still going to probably have to make another move to clear it, but whatever. But
No, they
Stidham,
don't actually because it's all incentives. They're good.
okay, they're good, but he still has to beat out Stedham. Hoyer, you already know who Hoyer is.
Stop. Stop. Really? I can
Yeah, he's
understand if you
got to
don't think he's
compete.
gonna.
He's got to compete.
He's not gonna beat out Jared Stidham, really?
We don't know this.
Well, if
We
he's
don't
healthy,
know.
well, we don't know if he'll be healthy.
If was a fifth, we'd all
he
be drunk.
passed. He passed. You're right. If it was a fifth, we'd all exactly. You're right. You're right.
If is the biggest word, the biggest two-letter word. If we seen him, he was terrible. He was terrible. How you know he's healthy?
Well, in 2018, before he got hurt, they were what? 6-1?
Love to live in the past.
Well, that's the last time he was healthy, Donovan. And
How many
last year he messed
listen,
up his foot against New England in the preseason, by the way.
Yeah. The guy's been in the league for 9 years. And 9 years, he's had a winning record for 3. He's old. Every other year he's hurt.
He's an MVP.
He's always hurt. His shoulder, then it's his foot.
Derwin.
He's 31 years old.
Derwin, you're talking about oh my gosh, Tom Brady's 43.
He's like Tom Brady.
Antonio, get in here. We'll do this. Go ahead.
Ooh, do it all day. They want to hear it. The people want to hear this. I am the people.
Okay.
It's great theater. I love it.
Go ahead.
So if Tom Brady, who's the GOAT, struggled with this team last year with the same pieces, what makes you think
12-4? I mean,
Tom Brady
they struggled for New
Tom
England
Brady
standards.
He wasn't his regular Tom Brady. He struggled with these receivers.
Sure,
it wasn't easy.
Yeah,
it was a
bit,
collective effort by the entire squad. The defense.
That's
you know, Buffalo
defense
was on the rise.
Yep.
Tennessee came in and caught him slipping. You know, what makes you think that Cam Newton, who didn't play all last year,
Tennessee won the game?
They won.
Okay.
They won
that's
in
true.
Foxborough. What makes you think Cam Newton is going to come in there and all of a sudden set the world on fire?
I didn't say he's a former MVP. What's standing in between him and starting? Jared Stidham, a former Auburn War Eagle, Tiger as well. That's the only thing. They wouldn't bring him in if they didn't envision. Look, here's what I'm telling you what's going to happen.
It costs them nothing. You know what? If he doesn't even work out, they get a third round pick for him.
Yeah, they'll get a compensatory pick.
They're going to get a compensatory. They've been doing this for years.
Who did Josh McDaniels draft in Denver when he was there?
Tebow. And I'm seeing that comparison.
He is salivating right now. He's doing this like, oh my God, I got a quarterback that can run and throw. I haven't had this in 20 years.
Listen, don't be surprised if they don't. They're not going to just
Antonio, get in here. We'll do this all day. You should see the legendary Colin Kaepernick back and forth.
Ooh, it's good. It's good.
Your thoughts, Antonio?
No, this is good. I personally like the move, and reason being because, and Renee can attest to this, whenever Geno retires, the person that follows Geno at UConn, those are big shoes to fill. So you actually want somebody that was actually there, so there is some continuity, or you want to make sure that if you bring in a person, they've already achieved some things and played essentially in a pressure cooker in their previous life. So Cam being a number 1 pick, a national champion, NFL MVP, making it to the Super Bowl, all those different things. I think being in the fishbowl of playing in the shadow of Tom Brady, I don't think it would bother him as much because he's already been in that fishbowl. He's already been in that pressure cooker. And also, too, I think I can say this from my time working for the Boston Red Sox. I think the expectations in New England are different because they had 20 years of Tom Brady. They made it to 9 Super Bowls. So that's virtually going to the Super Bowl every other year.
Well, basically, Tom Brady didn't start his rookie year, and his year in 2008, he got hurt. So basically, in 18 years, they went to the Super Bowl 9 times.
Right. Basically. So it's really going every other year. But what that does to your fan base is, yes, it creates a culture of expectations. But the other thing it does, and I can say this from my experience with the Red Sox, after we broke through and broke the curse in 2004, the pressure or the lack thereof was totally different in 2005. We were eliminated by the White Sox, and people almost didn't care because there was a love affair of 04. So with that being said, if Cam comes there and they go gradually with it, I don't think, even though they have won, I don't think the expectations will be nearly as, say if this were Cleveland, where they're starving for a champion and they haven't won anything since Jim Brown was running the ball. So I think the expectation level is a little bit different in New England because of that. And the other thing that you have from a playing perspective with Cam is I think he's going to be highly motivated. And Cam, and to me, as much as people look at things off the field in terms of his fashion choices and that nature, I don't think motivation was ever really a question for Cam, because this guy had almost a life-threatening car accident and came back and played, right? So now we're going to see him really, really motivated.
Okay.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. And then the other thing with respect to Bill Belichick is when you play under Bill Belichick and you watch him as a coach, I don't think he really subscribes to, other than discipline, I don't think he really subscribes to a particular way of doing things or a system. His system is to really cater to the players that he has.
Well, he does a great job of hiding weaknesses and playing to strengths. That's
right,
the key to
right. Where a lot of coaches will come in and this is our philosophy.
This is our system,
and we're going to do it no matter what, right? So he literally, his philosophy is, I'm going to play to the talent that I have at my disposal. So with that being said, I think he's going to put Cam in situations where he can be successful.
Sure.
And the fact that this division isn't very strong and historically hasn't been very strong.
Getting better.
Yes,
They've won 11 in a row, 16 of 17.
Right, right. And yes, it's getting better. And Buffalo is a team to be reckoned with for sure. But I think the fact that they aren't in quote unquote a murderer's row for in terms of their division, I think that also helps as well. So I like it overall.
Yeah, he's going from the NFC South, which is a hell of a lot better division. You also got the NFC West and things of that nature. But yeah, this is a perfect spot for Cam. We'll see what happens. Derwin, you got a valid point. We'll see if he can stay healthy. That's the question. Can he stay healthy? How's that shoulder? We're 2 years removed from that. That foot, no, over a year removed from that now. Well, actually, right at a year, because he hurt it initially, that Liz Frank injury against New England on the preseason. So we'll see. I like the move for $1 million. Hell, give me a 2015 MVP all day long.
Right.
So you can't do any. You can't do worse than that. But we'll see. Let's go to the hardwood. National Basketball Association. We talked about it, guys. The bubble going to be starting in Orlando, July 30th. I believe would be the first game. Now we're seeing players and other things coming out. Adam Silver, the commissioner, talking about players being able to potentially put causes on the back of their jerseys, social causes, social reforms, if you will. Your thoughts on this, guys? Initially, I loved it. Then I started thinking, we saw John Morant put something out there recently. Want to be careful what they're putting out there. That's about the only concern there. What say you guys? We'll start with you, Renee.
Yeah, I think that's the concern. Like, you do want them to do a cause, and now you start to see a lot of players speak up. Great, let's do a cause. Remember that hashtags, we say hashtags, but they're actually people. So you have to consider that. But if it's a social justice like movement or thing, that's fine. Or if you do use a family's name, well, then they better have some type of action following it, i.e., paying the family, some type of proceeds go to the family grant. You can't just do something without an action behind it, especially if you're going to make money off of it. So, love the idea, love where everyone's heads at in the sense of how can we amplify voices as much as we can. But again, there has to be some type of action behind it. You can't just sell these jerseys and then profit from it.
Derwin, your thoughts on this, man, with the NBA jerseys? Love the idea. Want to see what sort of, I guess, lanes that they put around this, sort of ramifications that might come from some of this and how they sort of restrain guys from, I guess, going too far and alienating certain people as well.
Well, I want to piggyback on what Renee said. I think she hit it right on. But also, you got to have the league approve it. You can't just put something out there without the league approving it. But if you can bring more awareness, I think the NBA is the perfect league to do this. Versus, say, like the NFL is very strict on dress code and how you do certain things.
Sure.
I think people love basketball here in this country. So I think that it's a perfect way to get those hashtags out there, to continue the push, even though we're playing. We haven't forgotten about you guys in the streets. We're going to keep pushing this thing all the way until we can get the change that we really want and what we need.
A-Dubs, your thoughts on this, man? You worked in the National Basketball Association. How do you think the league views this?
I think the league has done a pretty good job in terms of making sure that they look at the players in terms of it being a partnership as much as any other league that we see for the major professional leagues that we see in this country. So with that being said, I think to echo everybody's point, Renee and Derwin's point, I think just making sure that it's approved by the league and also that it's on brand with what we're trying to convey with the movement as well. Because I'll say this is one of the reasons why I respect Renee's decision so much, because when we had this a few years ago, we had Donald Sterling make his remarks, and the only thing that really happened was the players wore their warm-up shirts inside out, took them off, and threw them at half court, and that was our only statement, and we continued to play. And so that attitude and those sentiments that Donald Sterling has sort of predicates the actions that we see from people that are taking our lives at a disproportionate rate. And so this time, instead of just taking those warm-ups off and throwing them at half court, really use your platform to make some sort of statement, whether that's to, okay, I went the first time and I played and now I'm not because we've done this before, or you want to use that platform while you're playing to continue to heighten that awareness and also help the families that have been affected. So I kind of echo the sentiments of Renee and Derwin for sure.
Yeah, we'll definitely see about that. You're starting to see some of those stories come out. We talked about Ja Morant and others, and we'll see how careful they are and how they sort of deal with the families and other people they might have to deal with. But look, on the surface, great idea. I'm sure we'll see some BLM and some other things, some other hashtags. Maybe members of the Floyd family, maybe a Trayvon Martin, Breonna Taylor, and Ahmed Arbery. We'll see how this goes with the NBA. It's definitely the league that would allow something like this, and I think something that could flourish here. But we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep it in the NBA. We talked about a lot of players opting out. It started with Avery Bradley and others. Now you're hearing about Willie Cauley-Stein and Wilson Chandler here in the New York City area with the Brooklyn Nets, where Derwin is at. Just your thoughts, guys, on players continuing to opt out here. Major League Baseball, you had Ryan Zimmerman, who's a really good player with the Washington Nationals, a pitcher as well. A couple other players in Major League Baseball opting out for non-life-threatening reasons. They're deciding to opt out. Your thoughts on this? We'll start with you, Renee.
Yeah, I mean, I think with players, again, I think it's a choice. I opted out. People understand my choice, so people know my story, so people understand my choice. But people have to respect people's choices, no matter what the reasoning is, because at the end of the day, this is an abnormal situation. This is not just like, yeah, go to work. We're talking about a pandemic here. We're talking about separation from your family. So I think that if there's any year where the fans have to be understanding of athletes as a human and the right to make any decision, it's got to be this year.
Yeah, and you think about it. I was listening to some talk radio today, Derwin. Fans want to call in, but they understand, like, look, I mean, people are making personal sacrifices every day.
Right.
So, you got to give them some slack. I don't want to call it, like hiding behind a shield or using the family as an excuse, but, some of these guys, have had, brand new babies,
Yeah.
newborns.
Yeah.
They don't want to bring
Right.
that home to a newborn baby. So you can certainly understand, or other family members that have some underlying health issues there, D-Dubs.
Right. I think it was Trevor Ariza of Portland, a Trailblazer, that is going to a custody battle,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Yep.
he
It's the only time he can have
has
his son.
the only time he can have his son. So you got to respect the ones. You got to respect all of them, especially the ones that have family decisions, as far as they have little ones, custody battles. There's some things just more important than playing basketball. It might be their livelihood, but when it comes to family, protecting your children, going to a custody battle, and you only get a month to be with your child, you're gonna pick that over, in playing basketball. So my hat's off to it's a tough decision, but you know these guys are making the decisions that's best for them and their families. You got to respect it.
Antonio, have you spoken with any current or former players that are still in this situation, especially current players, and what are their thoughts on this? We've had plenty of them on the show, and we've talked to them on and off the record as well.
So some of the current players that I've talked to, I think they have some of the same concerns that we all do, because when we watch the news or we're looking at the information on it, the information changes. So we kind of don't know.
Sometimes by the hour, by the
right,
minute.
exactly. So with that being said, I think you're making this decision and you're making it with, you're not in a position of power because quite frankly, you don't have all the information because it changes so often. So I think that is tough for anybody to make that sort of decision because here we are on the other end, as much as we love this sport, but we are working from home and we've sort of closed our doors from a personal standpoint. We've closed our doors. It's just my wife, my daughter, and myself, right? And so to go take it back to what Renee was saying and what Derwin was saying as well, I think when you have athletes like a Renee Montgomery or other professional athletes, people look at them as superhuman beings when they're doing their things on the floor, when they're doing their things on the field. And then oftentimes, and this is why this is the crux of the issue that we're at right now, when Renee Montgomery leaves the court, sometimes people look at her as subhuman, right? So with that being said, now you have a chance to essentially say to the world, hey, I know you see me as a superhuman in some instances, and I know some of you see me as subhuman in other instances. This is the time for you to see me as a human.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
so with that being said,
Wow. I'm stealing that. That is amazing. Like
Yeah.
that was
No, that's-
articulated perfectly.
Absolutely.
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
You know how it is.
that.
We talked about this, Renee. You know how it is when you walk out from work and you get into that car. It's you back to being, you know what? You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah.
Just another
Yeah.
black chick
Right.
going
Yeah.
home, or another black guy, African American male going
Yeah.
home. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
Right.
but the way he broke it down,
Sure.
like it was well said because
Yeah.
it's
Subhuman.
spot on. Yeah.
hmm Go ahead, Antonio. About another 10 seconds. Go ahead and finish. your thought.
No, so those are my sentiments on it. And I just think now it's the time to have that reset so people can really see these athletes for what they are and the things that they go through. And, during normal times, athletes are dealing with all sorts of different things and they show up to work anyway. A bunch of things that us that aren't professional athletes won't show up to work for.
Absolutely.
So I think, having that reset, I think is probably good for everybody. As much as we all need this to happen, I think it's great to have that reset at the same time.
Good point there. We'll keep it in the NBA, guys. We'll talk about another big man here. Joakim Noah making some news, going to join the Clippers. Last played with the Grizzlies, I believe, over a season ago. So 2018 was the last time he was playing. So we saw him here with the Knicks, got hurt, got the PED suspension and things of that nature. Really hasn't been the same player in the last 4, 5, 6 years. Got that big contract here to play with the Knicks. What was it, like 70, 80 million, Derwin, something like that?
Yeah.
4 or 5 year deal, like almost 100 million is like $80 million, something like that. But look, he's going to a contender. Doc can do some things. He likes his veterans. We'll see about this. Renee, your thoughts? Joakim Noah heading out to La La Land, playing with the Clips.
I love it. So you bring in a guy, he has a limited skill set, right? So you know that he's only going to do certain things, but the things that he does them
Joakim Noah's not going to pick and pop.
Yeah, no, you're not going to see that. You don't have to worry about that. But what he's going to do really well is he's going to set a hard screen every time. He's going to attack the offensive rebound every single time, defensive rebound every single time. So he's a guy that you can just plug and place in a sense of you already have a lot of weapons in a Clipper. So everybody's like, we can see that they don't really need much of anything. But a guy that's going to be hustling hard every night, that's something you need in playoffs. So I think that was a huge get. I mean, he's always had now the problem has been him staying healthy, but everyone knows about this guy, his motor, his engine. So, I mean, I think that's a big get.
Yeah, he's getting up there in age, Durham, but this is the perfect time to
35.
come in. Yeah, well, exactly. He's getting up there.
He's not going to play a lot of
Yeah,
minutes.
exactly. But it's time. And it's only 8 games, and then you're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is perfect for him. He hasn't really played in a year, so he should be somewhat rested. Now we don't know how much, tread is still left on the tire. But look, the Clips need some size. That's the one thing that they do not have. Now look, it's today's NBA, but it's nice to have a big man that can bang if you need somebody like that. And bring another body off the bench. I like it. It's a good move, low cost, high reward. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a body.
Pretty much.
I just think it's a body and someone to have to put in the game and just piggybacking off of what Renee said. Basically, he can rebound, maybe set some hard screens, but I would not look for a lot coming. I'm not looking a lot from him at this point in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, but he's an extra body that you might need. You can put in a pinch, get you a couple of minutes, grab a couple of boards. But I don't see it as a big deal. That's just me.
Antonio, 6 fouls, man. That's pretty good. Another guy coming off the bench.
No question. And the way that I see it is, sort of piggybacking on what Renee said as well. I think oftentimes when you're looking at players and when you see them and they're in championship situations, sometimes the contributions that a player makes to a team that's contended for a title, if you put that player on a sorry team, those contributions don't mean anything because you need them to do quantifiable stuff when the team is not very good. Mm-hmm. But when you're playing for a title, you need players that do things that may not show up in the box scores.
Absolutely.
And so I think he helps you there. The other thing I think where he helps again from that defensive standpoint is they acquired him for the Lakers, Milwaukee, those teams, because we saw in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and you got to have the personnel to do this. And granted, these guys are incredible, but Toronto literally walled off the basket.
Build a wall. Absolutely.
That's what they did, right? Mm-hmm. And
Yep.
it helped them win the title. It would help them win the Eastern Conference and go on and win the title. Again, you got to have the personnel to do that. Not every team can do that.
And see, Boston started that against LeBron when I was there between 2008 and 10 and 11.
Yeah, I remember that.
They used to build a wall. That's Doc Rivers for you. So he's probably
and they also did that with Kobe too, where they guarded him in spots, almost playing a zone with like a man with zone principles.
With man principles, yeah.
Right. So they did that, but so I think he helps there in terms of LeBron, AD, if they were to make it out of the West, play Milwaukee or a team of that stature, he helps wall off the basket. He's another guy that can do that. Of course, his energy, all of that stuff. But the other thing that really helps as well is, and Renee can attest to this, I know as a point guard for me, when I had a big that we could run offense through, that he was a good passer, had a good game,
sure. Yeah.
That was awesome for me.
It keeps the offensive flow and the offensive flow. Yeah.
No question. Good point. Opposing teams don't like it when you can invert your offense, right? And so he has a really good.
He's a high post game guy.
No question. And that year when he was in the top 10 for MVP balloting when he got paid by the Knicks after that for the Bulls. That year when they were in the playoffs and everybody was hurt. And he was doing that through his energy and making plays for everybody. So on this team, if he gets minutes, it will literally be to wall off the basket and to make plays out of the high post, make life easier for those scorers that the Clippers have on the wing, and then anchor that defense. So for me, if you got a guy like that, you can never have. You're trying to win a title. You can never have enough guys that do that for you.
Yeah, good point there. We're here live here on esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show on Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, and YouTube, talking traditional sports and esports. Take your phone calls live, 877-853-5247. Meeting ID, esportsXTRA. That's 377-678-9872. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. We got Willie Colon slated to call in here in a moment. Coach K, be on the lookout for that. Guys, let's go and keep it in the NBA. We'll talk about another big man, Rudy Gobert. First player really to test positive for COVID-19 in the NBA. They shut it down March 11th. I'll never forget that day because I haven't worked since in a studio. But yeah, you look at it and now, 4 months later, almost 4 months, well over 3, almost 4 months next week. You look at Rudy Gobert and he's still having issues smelling, which is one of course, the symptoms of COVID-19, the taste and the smell. I looked at that. I'm like, okay, dude, have you recovered? Like, any concern with that? I mean, Derwin, if someone told me that COVID-19 they still can't smell, it's like, you stay over there and I'll still be here.
I would be concerned, man. That's kind of scary. This is a new disease. We don't know much about it. We're learning on the fly. They said that he got his taste back. It took him a little bit, but the smell has still not come back. And this is months later. I'll be running to the doctor, right back to the doctor, trying to figure this one out. But hopefully that other sense will come back soon.
Yeah. Renee, your thoughts. Rudy Gobert, when you saw that, here's the guy, the poster child for COVID-19 in the NBA and how the league shut down almost 4 months ago. He can't smell. Like, I'm
Yeah,
a little
that's
worried with that,
concerning.
right?
That's concerning. That's
Very concerning.
alarming.
Yeah.
The that's the thing I've been saying because everybody, even the asymptomatic people, I know are starting to probably feel a little bit invincible, right? Because like, look, I'm everywhere, and even if I have it, I don't have any symptoms. But that unknown is very scary to me. Like, I don't know why people don't fear the unknown when it comes to a disease that you could likely catch. I don't know. That to me is terrifying. Like, so maybe is he ever going to get it back? Is it going to be the same? I don't know. I saw DL Hughley just passed out on stage the other
Yeah. In
day
Nashville. Yep.
and just found out he had COVID that way. That's concerning to me. That's new. Like that. We
Sure.
didn't know that you could just pass out. Now, what about driving? No, you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like just different things. Like it's a blessing he passed out on stage, but if this is now a new symptom, that's concerning. So I don't know. I just think it's very, we're all in the same boat where we just all want more information.
Antonio, what did FDR say? The only thing to fear is fear itself.
For
So
yourself. Yeah.
maybe these guys are just, they're feeling. Look, most of these guys, they're at prime shape. They're athletes. 16 guys tested positive out of 300 plus. So about 5%. That's a good number if you're looking at if you're looking at it as a health professional, you'll take that. We saw NHL only 11 players tested positive out of their pool of players. So those are good numbers. Look, a lot of guys are going to test positive, but the fact that he still can't smell, I can't get that out of my mind right now. That's crazy. Like I don't mind if you test positive, do whatever, asymptomatic, but if you still can't smell, dude, you still got freaking medical issues.
No
Am I
question.
crazy? Like what?
No, no, not at all. And what that also makes me question as well is if he can't smell, it also makes me question his stamina. Can he really breathe? Right. So you're asking him to run up and down the floor, and can this guy really breathe? And then when you make that from a functional standpoint, what teams do to them and
Mm-hmm.
what teams are always going to do to them is they're going to put a player, they're going to force him to guard on the perimeter. So he's going to have to be, his stamina is going to have to be stronger. When they play playoff teams and they get into the playoffs, he's going to be on the perimeter. He's going to have to move. He certainly has to rim run. That's how he scores in offensive rebounds. So stamina is a big, big part of his game. So if he can't smell, I'm quite, not to get too technical. If he can't smell, that means there's some mucus there. That
Oh,
means he can't breathe.
oh,
So,
Doctor,
so with
doctor.
that,
oh.
so
You have to
so
be so descriptive and
Right.
characterizing what the
look,
hell's going on.
hey, Larry, I lived this, right?
Yeah, yeah, I know.
I lived this. I played with asthma and deviated septum and nose issues my entire career, and didn't get it fixed until after,
Mm.
and it really affects you. And so with that being said, it's not only for him. I'm looking at other players as well that have gone through this and now they're playing again because, as Renee has said, as has said as well, we don't have all the information. So how do people recover? And I've seen things again, and I don't want this to be urban legend, but I've seen things where people say I've had it twice. So with
Yeah.
that being, we just
I
don't
think
know.
that's possible. I think that's a known thing that is possible.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I,
with
I
that,
guess they said it was something about being asymptomatic. The antibodies really only last like a couple of months, a few months, and I guess you can get it again too.
right,
I
right.
thought once
Yeah.
you already had
And
it,
that
you were
there
pretty much free, but I guess not
I'm
anymore,
hearing
right?
that there's different strains too.
Yeah.
Again, this is all
Right.
like
Right.
hearsay because we all don't know,
We
but I've
don't
heard
know.
there's different strains that you can catch it twice. We don't
Hmm.
know. Like that's the scary part. We really don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's crazy, man. But I hope Rudy's okay. And as Renee said, it is somewhat alarming, very concerning that he cannot still. His smell is not back at 100%. Hopefully that does come back. It's like, dude, you've had it 4 months ago.
Right.
Probably had it before then, before you got tested. So
Right.
you're looking at 4.5 months, dude. It's like, man, the smell ain't coming back, dude. You got bigger issues, bro.
Right.
I, I mean, I
I'm,
can't smell because of allergies. That's whatever. We can take care of that, but not because of COVID-19. Oh, oh my goodness! But we'll see about that. Willie Colon, stand by, Coach K. He'll be calling in about 5 minutes. He's dealing with an issue right now. We're going to go ahead and jump a couple of topics. Let's bring in and talk about Morehouse. Um, Morehouse. We talked about this. We talked ad nauseum about HBCUs, historical black colleges. We talked about college football and the NCAA in general. Morehouse making the announcement. Actually, the players found out before the school told them last week. I think it was like Friday morning. I guess the news came out. Didn't have a chance to get to this on Sunday. Just your guys' thoughts on Morehouse canceling the 2020 football season. What do you think the true reason is? Is it COVID-19 and trying to protect their students, or they see this as an opportunity like, look, probably not going to have a full student body, probably can't sell out stadiums, we can't do the classics and things of that nature to drive and bring in revenue? The hell with it. We're just going to punt 2020.
All of the above. Why not? I mean,
Yeah.
You want to be safe. The best way to be safe is
Don't
a
play.
lot of these schools are gonna, well, a lot of these schools are gonna scale back. We don't know if they're gonna have full campuses. You're right. You might not be able to fill up the stadium. Why put the players at risk? Football is the one sport that has not tried to play yet. Everybody else has been interrupted. Football, I mean, I'm still sitting here wondering, how are they going to play a football season? They play in the trenches so closely together, large rosters. I don't know, how they're going to get this done. And Morehouse would rather be safe than sorry. So I think they're doing the right thing. And maybe some other schools will follow them after that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at it, man. The MEAC, they're having some issues. A lot of HBCUs are having issues, especially with funding. They're already behind most of these PWIs, Renee. We talk about this. We've got family and loved ones that love HBCUs. We're going to be doing something with an HBCU takeover coming up here this weekend. We got Willie. Is that what you said, Kevin? All right, guys. We'll come back to this Morehouse question here in a second.
Right.
Live here on Esports Extra, joining us here on the phone here. We'll take your phone calls, 877-853-5247, meeting ID Esport Extra. Hit the pound button twice to join the show. Let's go to the phone lines here. Colleague of mine at SNY does the Jets pre- and post-game show, also some other ancillary Jet shows. Saw him win a Super Bowl with the Pittsburgh Steelers back in 2008, played a few years with the Jets as well. Willie Colon, man, thanks for joining us here on a Monday, man. Thank you kindly. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, what's going on? All is well.
All right, brother. Let's dive straight in, man. Let's talk about your old team, the team you ended your career with the last 3 years. You played with the Jets. Jamal Adams, of course, in the news we saw last week. Responding to a post on Instagram, wants to be traded. You saw some of the Jets people, Adam Gase, Joe Douglas, and of course also the defensive coordinator Greg Williams. Expressed their gratitudes for them. They want him. Where do we stand right here with the Jets and Jamal Adams? You think he'll go? And he's also tweeted at Marcus May. He talked to Marcus May and said, look, I think might be it for him. Where do you see Jamal Adams going in 2020?
Well, I don't know. It sounds like he wants to be a Cowboy by speculation. I think every football player kind of comes to this kind of crossroads. Jamal has, I think, 2 years left on his contract. He's been a star since he stepped in New York. Obviously, his legacy starts with his dad. But he was drafted by Todd Bowles, brought into that organization to be a leader and an impact player. With that said, and to go back to my first statement, every ball player comes to that fork in the road where they have to decide who they are and what they mean to that organization. Now, in my eyes, Jamal is an impact player. He's just not the most important player. And there's a difference. Does he produce? Is he a leader? Is he physical? Does he say the right things when necessary? When he got into the Jets, they were losing, and they were losing bad. And he stepped up time after time and expressed his passion and his motivation to get better. And that's what you want. But the most important player on the team is Sam Darnold, who hasn't been paid. We are in a league that's led by the quarterback. He is the face of the franchise, usually. You talk about how much Le'Veon Bell is being paid. You talk about Quentin Williams and what he will mean in a couple of years. They can't tie themselves up from the Jets side, on behalf of the Jets, and dumping so much money into Jamal Adams and Le'Veon Bell and leaving Sam Darnold, who is the most important piece on that team, up for grabs in some way. So, and then you have to think about the logic of that if Jamal is unhappy now, what will he be when the season resumes and the Jets aren't winning, let's say, and he's still producing? Will he be a guy who's going to be disruptor, and somebody who, by all accounts, men look to him in the locker room. So if you have somebody who's upset and frustrated, rightfully so, about his money and what he feel like he deserves, you have to talk to him and you have to answer the bell if you're Joe Douglas and really figure out what's not only best for the Jets, but what's best for everybody in that building. Because when your superstars are unhappy, that's when the dark clouds come. And so it's a lot to handle. It's a lot the Jets are dealing with right now, but this is the nature of the business.
I'm talking here live here on esportsXTRA, the only live call-in sports show talking traditional sports and esports here on Twitch, Facebook, Mixer, and YouTube. Willie, you look at Jamal Adams, still vastly underpaid, 2 times All-Pro or Pro Bowl the last couple of years. Definitely one of the top 5 safeties in the league. He wants $20 million. Don't think he'll get that. The highest paid guy, Landon Collins, making around 14, somewhere around there. I think he had a guaranteed of 40-something million dollars. What's his value on the market? Is it 12, 13, 14, 50 million? Definitely not 20. And if you're the Jets, what do you do here when you know you can franchise him? He's going to make around 10, 9, high 9s next year. And then that following year, he could probably get a little bit more than that. But what do you do if you're the New York Jets, if you're Joe Douglas and Adam Gase?
Well, I think you franchise tag him unless something just seems equal or a better value. You talk about some of the holes the Jets need to fill. They don't have a number 1 receiver right now. You lost Robbie Anderson. He's in Carolina. Quincy Newell. He's still down with his neck issues. They have I know they drafted the young kid out of Baylor, but they don't have that Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, that kind of go-get-it body like the Jets had in 15 with Brandon Marshall. And then you also talk about the offensive line, they're still trying to piece that together. And Joe Douglas being a former offensive lineman and obviously did a great job in Philadelphia, you can tell he wants to build within and build out, right? And you talk about drafting a young kid Becton out of Louisville and putting pieces together so that offensive line can not only be efficient, but once again, who's the most important piece on the field? Sam Darnold, and keep him protected. So they're at the position where they have to really be calculated about the decisions they make and why they're making it. Because right now, for the Jets to be where they need to be, they need an offensive line. They still have to address pass rush issues. They need better depth in the linebacking core. They need, they have a couple corners that show promise, but they still have to. They have some holes out there. So they have a lot of holes they have to fill. And I think for Joe Douglas, if it was me, I'm not letting, and I respect Jamal Adams and I understand he wants his money, and I'm never trying to put my hands in any man's pocket.
Absolutely.
But from a business standpoint, you need him to be impactful. You need him to be on that team, but you want him willing to want to be on that team. And so I would franchise tag him. I would, but it's ultimately up to Joe Douglas to figure out how they want to proceed. But I wish Jamal the best. I do. I just think right now, the Jets are kind of they have to make smart moves and they got to be patient.
Well, the Jets have definitely, told everyone that will listen and the media recently that they definitely respect Jamal and they want him back. Jamal was riding around in his truck not too long ago, and they were like, "Hey, man, we need you to come play with the Cowboys." He's like, "I'm trying." Right. So we'll see. We'll see what happens to Jamal. Let's move to the guy you were just talking about, the number 1 guy on this team, actually number 14, QB number 1. QB1 be Sam Darnold. Had a nice kick to the season last year. Willie, 19 touchdowns, 13 picks, played very well the last 8 games. I believe they were 6-2. Save for that stinker against Cincinnati, I thought he showed some promise. Had the bout with that early on in the season. How vital will he be to this team next season? And how much more of an impact can he be in season 3? Willie, he needs to step it up to get this team to 8, 9, 10 wins and play meaningful games like they wanted to play last year in December.
Well, honestly, I think the best thing that happened to the Jets was Sam Darnold getting mono, because that offensive line just wasn't playing well. He was getting beat up, man. And him coming back those last 8 games really showing that he can lead this team and he can really get out there and really get it done. I have all the faith in the world in Sam Darnold. But he needs to be protected. And I think a lot of guys who played this game and understand how this thing works, if you keep the guy who's throwing the ball up right, you got a high percentage chance of winning the game. Sam Darnold can make any throw on the field. He's calculated. He's smart. He's calm. He's a leader. He's driven. And he just has that moxie about him that you need to play in New York. And I think going forward, I think he's going to be, if not, I think he's going to be one of the top 10, top 5 quarterbacks in the league. But I also think he's probably going to end up being the best quarterback in that division if given the time and protection to produce and really kind of mature his game. I think he's going to be special.
Talking here live to Willie Colon, former Super Bowl champ with the Steelers, finished his career with the New York Jets. Last question before we let you get out of here, Willie. We thank you for your time here. You were just talking about this division. We look at the AFC East: Bills, Jets, Fins, Pats. Pats just got Cam Newton. Newton, what are your thoughts on Cam being QB1 potentially in New England, and how do the Jets stack up in this division? Who will win the division? Patriots have won it 11 straight, 16 of the last 17. Will we get a new champion in 2020 in the AFC East?
Wow, did you say 11 straight? That's intense.
11 straight, 2009 through 19. Yes, sir. That's hard to swallow. For me, I think I don't like to compare anybody to any other athlete, but it's kind of like the Derrick Rose story, right? Like we know Derrick Rose to be the MVP, this super explosive superstar, and then he got hurt, and then he's kind of finding himself and finding his way back. Cam has been riddled with injuries. We validate his hard work and everything he's been putting into himself. You want to see him succeed, and I don't think anybody's rooting against Cam. But I think we would be setting Cam up for failure if we think he's gonna go back to being that caliber player like he was the year he went to the Super Bowl against the Broncos. I don't think he's gonna go back to being that guy. And then you also got to understand what makes New England special is the playbook and how they operate and how they run. There's a strict, there's discipline, they're not about the antics, they're about producing and winning, and Super Bowl is all they talk about. So Cam is going to have to step his standard and his approach to the game up because, he's filling, whether he likes it or not, the shoes of one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, and Tom Brady. And there's a lot of pressure in that, and particularly when playing in New England. So I wish Cam all the luck in the world, but I think it has to be, for me, game by game. I'm not ready to say that now that Cam's on New England, joining with Bill Belichick and XYZ, that they're automatically going to the Super Bowl. I think that's a little hard press. I think we got to see if Cam can just get back to being efficient, throwing the ball. We know he's a juggernaut with the football in his hand when he's running it, but can he make those throws? Because Tom, at the age of 40, 41, was still making those throws, still putting the ball in the pocket, in the right places for his receivers to go get it. Cam was struggling with that in Carolina, and even that he may be healed up and feel better, he's still going to have to produce on a high level, especially in New England. And it's not because of his expectation; it's because what Bill Belichick demands, and that's what it is. All right, we'll see what Josh McDaniels does. Maybe he'll open up that playbook that he had in Denver when he drafted Tim Tebow and take advantage of those RPOs, those run-pass options. Real quickly, Willie, before you get out of here, 5 seconds. Who wins the AFC East this year? I've got Pats. Who you got?
Well, I got Jets.
What? Really? You just talked about they didn't have a great offensive line. So Sam Darnold will have an MVP-type sort of season then, right?
I don't think he needs an MVP type season. I think he just needs to be the best player on the field when he has the ball in his hand.
Wow. Willie Colon, that is bold, my friend. That is a hot take right there. Brother, we really appreciate you joining us, man. I look forward to seeing you in the SNY studios coming up here the next few months as the Jets get back on TV on SNY, man. You're killing it. Keep doing your thing on Barstool, man, and we look forward to talking to you down the road, bro.
All right, be good. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. That's the big homie right there, Willie Colon, Super Bowl champ with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and finished his career the last 3 seasons with the New York Jets. Larry Ridley here.
Jets.
Yes. He said it. Y'all just hear that? We got to go back to that.
No, he said it with his chest. It wasn't even. He said it with his chest, so he meant it.
Didn't stutter at all.
Yeah, he knew what he said, and he said, "Yeah, I said it."
Unbelievable.
He put his name on it.
He put his name on it. I don't know if that was an SNY.
I said what I said.
I'm going with Buffalo.
Buffalo, that's trendy. Yep.
It's the division to lose. There's no excuses for them this year. None.
I agree.
None.
I agree with you.
Because the Patriots are not going to – the Patriots are a good organization, but you can't expect them to be the same as what they were. They lost Tom Brady.
Sure. And some other pieces. You're right.
Yeah, and they brought in Cam Newton. So what? What?
There you go.
I mean,
He's so great.
Oh man.
I mean, Cam Newton at this point, it's a name. It's a nice name. It's a nice name, but he won MVP 5 years ago.
That's like saying, "Hey, we'll bring in Aaron Rodgers. He won the MVP
He's not
6
Aaron
years ago."
Rodgers.
No, but I mean, but Aaron
Let me
Rodgers ain't
tell you
done a
about
damn
something
thing
about
in
Cam.
10 years.
Let me tell you something about
Aaron
Cam.
Rodgers hasn't done anything.
Listen,
He won the Super Bowl
we're
in
not going to sit
2009.
here, Larry Ridley.
I'm
We're not
not
going to
saying
sit
he's
here
Aaron Rodgers,
and
but what I'm saying is
compare
you're
Aaron. Yes, you are.
you're poo-pooing his career
If
and his
Cam Newton,
accomplishments.
Cam Newton, 9 seasons, 3 winning seasons.
He just
Okay.
won an MVP like 4 or 5
Oh,
years ago.
5.
When was the last time Aaron Rodgers won one?
Listen, Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback, period.
Sure he is.
Period. It ain't even close.
Better arm talent, absolutely.
I knew that was
Why
coming.
you keep
make it seem
bringing
like
up
Cam
Aaron
Newton-
Rodgers?
Because
He's
you
not
make
even
it seem
part-
like Cam Newton is David Fales. He's not, bro.
He's not.
You make
But
it seem
listen,
like-
we've seen it. We've seen it with my eyeballs have seen it. If Cam Newton can't run, what is he? If he can't run, what is he?
Is he not a
We
starter
saw
in
it
this league?
last
Is that what you're
year.
saying? He's not a starter in this league? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying he's not a starter.
Okay.
But
But
look at the Patriots.
Quarterback.
If I'm the Patriots right now, I got a young kid who we don't know who he is. Jarrett Steffer. We don't know who he is.
That's why you
am I
try out
gonna-
Cam, and if he falls on
Am I
his face,
right?
you go to
Am
the
I
kid.
gonna waste a year with Cam and
You're
set this
already
kid
gonna
back?
waste this. Here's the
And
thing
set
about
this kid back?
They're already going to waste the year because they're up against the cap. They're paying $13.4 million on Brady because they cut him at the they let him go and they have to re-sign him before March 1st, and they weren't able to do that. Next year they're going to have like $90 to $100 million. That's when they'll be fully back and truly back.
But
Antonio,
you guys
what
are
we doing
saying
here?
like Cam Newton is the starter and that's it. I don't see it
I
that way.
I said if he's healthy, let's see. Let's get him in the
It's an
camp.
if.
Well, I mean,
If.
Yeah, that's an if for everybody.
Well,
I
he's
can walk
bad,
outside and get hit
man.
by a bus.
When Cam is bad, he's bad. Even Cologne said it. He was struggling to throw that ball down to Carolina.
He was hurt, dude.
He's always hurt. When is he not hurt?
He was hurt. He
When
took
is
a
he
beating
not
early on. The last 2 years he's been hurt, but he took a beating early on. Dude, he carried this team to 15 and freaking won. You don't do that by accident.
Hold on, time out. You act like Luke Kuechly and that defense wasn't there.
Who's the
He
high
won
scoring? Who's the high scoring
me-
offense? Who's the high scoring team in the NFL that year?
Cam did a lot that year. I
Carolina
remember- hold
Panthers.
on.
So he
I
was doing
remember-
something.
I remember he was running
Carolina
around.
Panthers.
He was doing the dab.
Who was
He
the
giving
number one
balls
scoring team? Who
to
was
the
the
kids.
top scoring team in the National
He was
Football League?
dabbing all this.
Oh, boy.
And
Here
then
he
what
goes.
happened in the Super Bowl?
There
What
he goes,
happened?
America. There he goes,
What happened in
America.
the Super Bowl?
They lost.
We ain't seen none of
I've
this.
seen Tom Brady lose Super Bowls too.
No kids.
3
in
times.
that-
My 2
no
Super Bowls I
kids.
went, they lost both of them.
No kids at the Super Bowl got a ball that day. None of them. None of them. He was 18
Oh,
of
boy.
41 that day.
Yeah.
He threw an interception and had 2 fumbles. And one fumble,
and the one he didn't
decided-
jump on.
and-
Yeah, that's true.
Antonio,
That's true.
one
He had a
fumble,
bad
he said,
game.
nah, I'm all right. I don't
He
even
had a
want
bad
that
game.
ball.
He had a bad
I'm
game.
all right.
But the other 2 games going, the NFC Championship game in the divisional round against your Seahawks, he was bad, and against the Cardinals that year, he lit it up too. And think about this. You know what Bill Belichick does? He admires teams and players that give him a hard time. What is Cam Newton's record against the New England Patriots?
It don't matter. I don't know what it is.
And his numbers are fabulous.
Cam Newton to Belichick at the end of all of this.
So if
is
Bill
gonna be
Belichick
it's
says
going to
you're
be
a bad
third-round
boy,
pick.
and he says he's the toughest quarterback we have to face the entire year, and there's only one Cam Newton that says he's pretty good. He's worthy of at least bringing
It's
in,
a
right?
win-win for the Patriots.
God.
This is so
if
good.
it doesn't work, you get a third-round pick for the guy. It's a win-win.
Okay, we'll say that instead of saying he's not any good. It's the Kaepernick thing all over again, dude. It's like you just
He's better than Cap. I give him that.
This does reek of deja vu.
man,
Yeah.
you're in this capping, dude.
I'm saying the guy was on the goal line against Tampa Bay. It's a 4th and 1. Normally Cam was over the top. He said afterwards, I couldn't do it. They give it to McCaffrey. He can't even get in the end zone. He physically couldn't do
We
it.
can find one play for everybody, dude.
Dude was terrible.
Oh my God.
He was terrible.
I love when you guys do this, honestly. This is great.
Because
Yeah.
he's such
You
a
act like
contrarian.
2015 was the only year that he played. He played after 2015.
He did, of course. But that was a very special year. Not very
Yeah.
many quarterbacks have had those years. He's got what I think he's got the record for most TDs and most rushing TDs. I think he's got. He's the only quarterback with over 40 or 50 in both. I mean, the guy's done some things.
Yeah, he likes to run. He's not running anymore.
Well,
And when he can't run,
that's a good question.
When he can't run, what is he? Is he mediocre? What is he? If he's not running, what is he? If he's not a threat to run, and he's 31.
Sure.
If he can't run anymore, you think he's going to sit in the pocket like Tom Brady? Tom Brady gets the ball out of his hand.
Sure.
He doesn't hold the ball. That's not who Cam Newton is.
He's going to play for the hoodie, the master genius.
Hoodie ain't catching the ball.
Well, but what are the Patriots good at? Scheming your ass up. That's what they're going to do. So we'll revisit. Now look, if he gets hurt, all bets off. If he gets all bets off, if he gets hurt, all bets off. I'm not saying that, but if he's healthy, he's going to be QB1.
Is that word again?
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Just don't say he ain't no good. Just say, look, the guy ain't healthy. I don't believe in him. Okay.
You crowning him. I ain't crowning him.
I didn't say crown him. I didn't say that.
Okay, we'll see.
Crown him. Crown him.
This is great.
All right. Morehouse football. Back to that. And Antonio, you were talking about Morehouse. I love Durham, but he gets me riled up with these quarterback
It's good.
situations, man. Oh my goodness. Well, I love this guy, but holy cow. Your thoughts, Antonio, on Morehouse football shutting it down for 2020?
No, I think exactly when you
You made some good points, so I'll give you credit on that.
Yeah, right. You know,
you still wrong and you lost.
One thing I'll say about Cam, you guys gave me a thought as you were going back and forth. Cam is the epitome of, as a player, you need to be true to your mission and do what's best for you, right? And that's apropos for today with players opting out. Because, again, we talked about how this guy was coming back from injuries, and he wasn't those quarterback rules that applied to other quarterbacks, for whatever reason, didn't apply to him when he got hit, right? So you got to do what's best for you.
A word.
They did not protect him at times. You're right about
He's
that.
running.
They did not
He's
protect
a runner.
Yeah, but those hits against Denver. Oh, they did not protect that guy. Oh man.
I remember a hit on that goal line against Atlanta. He was running and he let up, thinking he was gonna walk in the end, so he got blasted. Whose fault is that? Whose fault is that?
There he goes. There he goes, America. This guy.
I mean, the film don't lie.
Don't have any.
Right.
The film is a truth teller. Well, if I'm looking at the film correctly, it's got a lot of positive plays too, Darwin. Yeah. Did you not see that highlight package that ESPN ran last night?
Yeah, he's played some good ball. He's played some good one.
He's played some good ball.
Thank you. He got the stamp of approval from Derwin Worrell. There we go. Cam, you did it, brother. You arrived.
He's played some good ball.
He's played some good ball before.
He's been good. But
he talks as if the guy's just some freaking
9 years.
Oh my gosh,
seasons.
man!
I mean,
he makes it seem like Cam Newton's a journeyman, and you're good for him. Yeah,
he has a certain skill set, and I mean, when he's not able to run, you're taking away part of his game.
Lamar Jackson's got a certain skill set too.
Exactly, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out who Lamar is in about 4 years.
I know,
because if he doesn't get better throwing that football,
I agree. But
we're gonna be saying the same thing about him.
Is he still a starting quarterback in the NFL? You can say that about everybody.
He's electrifying. He's 40 yards in a blink.
Yeah, okay.
Cam is 31. He's not 40 yards in a blink. It's different now. It's different now. Yeah, I said it's different. It's different now. He's 31.
My head hurts, man.
Unless Frank.
Hey, I wanted to add something though. You guys remember scores in games like amazingly. He's like, yeah, but they won by one, and you're like, yeah, but they won, and I'm like, what?
Derwin, he gives me a headache, man, with this stuff because sometimes I wish he was sitting right next to me. So I can be like, dude, are you crazy? Are you literally crazy right now with some of the stuff that you say? That's why he's on the show, though, because he's got
it's great
radical views that no one agrees with. So there, I'm just joking. No, he's got a good point. No, but I will say this. Look, he has been erratic at times, but a lot of quarterbacks have as well. Completion percentage not as high as I like it.
59%. 59.
Yes, terrible. And Kaepernick's around low 62, right at 62.
Is you giving Kaepernick 62? Is that correct?
No, he was around low 60. He's around 60. He's around 60.
I don't know.
Well, Baker Mayfield would love to hit.
You might be stretching it.
Baker Mayfield was the #1 pick, and he's barely hitting 60%. That's what I'm saying.
Baker Mayfield, what, third year in the league? How many years he been
Okay,
in the
so
league?
okay, how many times? How long you don't keep pampering him then? You
You
don't give him the
brought up
benefit of the
Baker.
doubt.
I didn't bring up Baker.
But what I'm saying is there are other quarterbacks that are doing worse than Cam and Colin, and they're getting the benefit of the doubt. You don't say anything about them.
You want to put these two guys in Canton. And I'm
But
saying
no, they're 32 clubs.
Now they're in the Hall of Fame.
No, they're 32 clubs.
Uh,
They're 32. I'm not saying they're Hall of Fame. I'm not saying they're all pro or Pro Bowlers. Well, Cam has Pro Bowl ability. We've seen him. He's made Pro Bowls, multiple Pro Bowls. If I'm not mistaken, 3 or 4. So that tells you
no,
he's
not
decent.
4.
That's at least 3, Darwin. That's pretty
But
good.
Cam
And an
Newton
MVP.
did something. Cam Newton did something that we know Colin Kaepernick ain't going to do. He ain't going to sign for no mill. He's not going to sign for the minimum. So that's where your difference is right there.
Yeah, okay, well, you got a point with that. Yeah, you
That's
notice
a very valid point. Very valid point.
See, Cam is betting on himself.
Sure.
Cam is betting that he's going to go into New England. He's going to learn this system, and he's going to outshine Stidham and
And
get
he's
that
going to turn
starting
it into
job.
his team. Yeah, he's going to turn it into his team.
And then he's going to get he's a 1-year deal. He's going to turn it into a big deal for next year. That's what he's betting on. Because he could have waited
for
somebody
and
to
you
get
can
hurt.
tell. For sure. I mean, and as an athlete, honestly, like if I have to bet on anything and it's myself, like that's the best case scenario for me.
Sure.
Like, and what you know about him is he's a worker. So for me, if I know I can work myself into the starting position, I'm looking, I'm seeing who's in front of me. Yeah, I think Derwin hit it spot on. He's going to take this minimum and he's going to try to parlay it and turn it into he's the new man on campus. Because even like, I mean, again, this is Tom Brady you're behind. So they are going to give him some of that leeway that we talk about. They're not going to expect him to be Tom Brady.
I'll tell you what, he throws that first pick though. Those fans in New England will be like, "Oh man, here we go!" Like Brady never threw a damn pick. That's gonna be the funny thing. So we'll see. Antonio knows how they are in Boston. Patica. Yeah,
I know.
Great fans though. Great fans though. Let's keep it moving. We got about 12 minutes by my math because when we go past 8:20, Antonio, Renee gets extra money.
Gosh.
She gets like she gets double time. So we have to end around 8:20.
Antonio,
yeah.
Do not believe the lies.
Yep. Civil War. We just had one between me and Durham. Civil War. I'm the Union. You're the Confederacy, though.
I'm no loser.
I'm no loser.
Get you guys' thoughts. Oregon State. I guess you can't say the Civil War anymore. Look, I applaud them, but it's like I don't think that was, anything negative or detrimental to me. You see, we even see people in your neck of the woods, Antonio, down in the Dallas area, not wanting to call master bedrooms anymore. So I think, look, it's okay. Just you guys' thoughts on not calling it the Civil War anymore between Oregon and Oregon State out there in Oregon.
I'll jump into it. I think that people are doing a lot, almost the most, except for with the cops. Like, so it's like, man, they're finding everything to change, alter, except for cops' behavior or making them accountable. It's like, man, we are out here protesting and they don't want to call it master bedrooms. We're not going to call it the Civil War of whatever the games are. We're going to take down some statues, guys. We're going to change some school names. Hello, let's focus, man. So that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, I don't really care. I mean, I'm glad, but can we still focus?
You said moments equal momentum and movements equal momentum as well, or moments equal movements. Yeah, doing too much. I get it.
I mean, because I get it, and so good. Let's get rid of it. I'm glad. Let's get rid of all this stuff that should have never been there in the first place. Yes, but while we're doing all these changes, can we make some of the bigger ones? That's all I'm saying.
Well, I guess we can call this a small win since you like.
A win is a win now. I'll take it.
A win.
A win is the win. But I'm just saying, like, this is really like it's becoming like big topics, and a win is a win. But it's like we start to see a standstill for other wins. That's when you have to kind of make sure we know what the demands are. Like, so that's when you have to make sure. Do you guys know what we want? Just checking.
Exactly. Derwin, I'm with Renee on this. We didn't ask for all this, but I guess we'll take it. But that's not on my list of priorities, if you know what I mean.
True. But let's not poo-poo wins, though. They're still wins,
No, a win is a win.
Right. And, as I said before, we live in a sensitive society. So I'm going to
Well, the
applaud
Civil
them.
War. I mean, look, that's history.
Yeah, but
and the Union
but it's
won.
still,
I guess as long as the winner of the game gets to be called the Union, I guess we all win, right? And that's usually Oregon.
But people are trying to distance themselves from anything that has to do with slavery. You know, anything that goes back to that time. So yes, I can understand why they would remove Civil War. I can understand why they would say, you know what, that Uncle Ben's and Aunt Jemima, maybe we need to change that as well. I can understand all of that because, to me, should we be happy that the other side is being accommodating? They're making change. They're even changing things we didn't even ask for. But
I was about to say they're doing a better job of listening. We didn't even ask for this one though. But go ahead.
Yeah, but it's well, you're still going to take it, still be grateful, and still ask for what you want. As Renee said, are you listening to our demands? What it is that we want? But I'm still going to take those wins though. And if they want to take it upon themselves to remove a statue, or even you saw the flag come down in Mississippi. Finally,
yeah, man, that's a win. That's a win.
We talked about it.
Yep. Let's not poo-poo them when they're giving us wins that we didn't even ask for.
It's not a poo-poo. It's we got to make sure we stay focused, because sometimes you get so many of these wins that aren't necessarily on the goal, and people might think that the goal is that. So you always take all the wins. Thank you. Get all the Civil War, all the Woodrow Wilsons, get them all gone. Let's get them all gone, all in one sweep. Like, let's just make it a thing. You can't name it that anymore. And then let's also just make sure that they know. And when I say they, anybody that wants to make change knows what exactly things we want.
Yeah. And Tony, your thoughts on the Civil War? I don't think that was high on your list, was it, of things that we wanted to accomplish?
No, it wasn't. But I sort of echo the sentiments of everybody else and making sure that we stay focused on what the real asks are. And the other thing about that with these wins as well is whether we remove the statues, whether we remove the flags, all of those things, the fact of the matter is the policies and the things that were enacted still affect us today. They negatively impact us today. So what I don't want is you always have to, I think Renee made a post and I said, yeah, good job. You're not falling for the trick bag on one of her posts. And I said,
that was you.
That was me, yes. And so I say that because if we're not careful here, as all of these things are removed from a visual standpoint, then for people that we are asking to continue to change, that control policy and those things, they can now say, we've taken down the statues. What else do you want? Right? So I think,
how about my 40 acres and a mule, damn it? How about that?
Right, exactly, right? The things that really make that really have the impact that negatively impact us and keep us in the position that we are as a collective. So I just want to make sure that as all of these things, as you all alluded to, some of these things we didn't ask for directly. I just want to make sure that as we are getting these wins, now when we go to ask for something that's really significant and impactful and the things that we're really looking for, the rebuttal isn't, well, we've given you this, why do you want something else?
Well, that's why we need to have a very a really good list, a list that reflects our values and our priorities. So the Civil War wasn't on there, and I really don't give a damn about a master bedroom, but we'll take it. We'll put it in the left column. We'll put a check over the all right, now gave us that. What else is
dub
next?
is a dub. It's almost interesting. Like, I'm almost interested to see what will get changed next. Like, I'm like, wow, I did not think of master bedroom, but if that's what I didn't even know what it meant. That's what's crazy. Like, like I didn't know that the master bedroom, I just considered it the big suite, like that's kind of what I associated with. I don't just always think master bedroom, but if that's the connotation, get rid of it. Like Derwin said, I'll take it. What else? Next.
Next, there you go. Speaking of next, great job by you, Renee. We'll segue into a little soccer or American football or football across the globe. It's not American football. The National Women's Soccer League. I don't know if you saw this. They were playing in Utah. It was North Carolina against, I believe, what team was it? It was North Carolina against one of those teams. They were playing in Utah anyway. Sorry, forgive me. I did not remember the other team. But they kneeled before the game, all of the players. They wore armbands that said Black Lives Matter, wore some other T-shirts in support of racial equality as they entered the stadium. No fans were there, but a great display and support of these folks getting behind the cause and all of these reforms that we're all talking about here. I just want to get you guys' thoughts on seeing that in the NWSL. We'll start with you first, Antonio.
I think it's good because again, it starts to bring that human element to us as a collective, and that's what's needed as we are trying to advance the ball, to borrow a football term. So I think that part is good. And then we actually saw with Julie Ertz, and I can't remember the other player's name. It was just a raw reaction.
Yeah, the black player. Yeah, they bent down. Yeah, I saw that.
Yes, yes, and that what it speaks to when you see that is not only the power of that moment, it also speaks to all of the experiences before that moment happened, and all of the opportunities are situations where we are invisible. Renee, one of the things that you said that really resonates with me, there was a point in time where I went to a school and there was only 3 Black people there. And,
Wow.
and I'm referencing that because I graduated from 8th grade there, and I had some sort of academic distinction. I'm referencing that for a reason, because in 2010, I was in town for work back home. I went to the school to see how much it changed, and there was no record of me at the school.
What?
Wow.
No record. And so the person, the head administrator at the time asked me, he said, "Are you sure that you went to this school?" I know where I went to school, man. Come
Yeah,
on,
that's
right?
silly.
Right.
And so he pulled out the pictures, and hey, one of the things that our melanin does is black don't crack, right? So for the most part, we all look the same, right? So he
Ooh,
looked
that's
at
a
the picture,
fact.
right? He looked at the picture and he was like, "Of course, I'm the only Black person there, but I virtually look the same,
Still
right?"
look the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. And he
Yeah.
said, I can't
Yeah.
believe this.
Irrefutable evidence is what that would be.
Exactly.
Yes.
Right. So
Exactly.
with that being said,
Uh-huh.
it speaks to being invisible in a lot of
Mm.
instances, and being in people look at you as being inhuman. I know we're talking about that a lot, but people look at you in that regard. So the reaction,
Yeah, looking at you as less than. That's what inhuman is.
exactly,
Less than.
right.
Yep.
Crazy.
So that is, so we've all sort of had those instances where it's either been visceral, raw racism, or it's just been, you know what, we just look completely past you.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's the same effect.
Yep.
So
Hey,
And
Durham.
and let me say something real
Yep.
quick.
Get in
Speaking
here,
of
Renee.
invisible, shouts to OG. Miss you today on the show. You are not here, but you're here with us. So wanted to give him a shout. He always
Yes.
shows love.
Snook and Diddy.
And
Yeah.
to the parentals, they are tuned in. They have been texting me during the show. Yes, I see it,
Oh,
Snookabuka. So
we love you, Snook. I can't wait to meet you, Snook. Hopefully you'll be in Atlanta next month.
oh, she better not.
Oh, that's
What?
right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
a good
sir.
point.
They're in the
Yeah.
high risk age. I told you, we have
Yeah.
threatened them into
Mm.
the house.
Yeah.
They are not allowed to leave.
Don't move, Snook.
Listen, no,
right,
no,
right.
not until we figure out what is going on in America.
Going on,
Y'all
Right.
just
right.
stay put.
Now we'll come to those country roads and we'll come to West
Yeah,
Virginia. We'll have a
that's
nice little
better.
cookout. Okay, all right. Go ahead, Joe, you jump in here with the National Women's Soccer League real quickly.
I think it's awesome, and I think this is just the beginning. You're going to see a lot of other teams start to do it, and definitely NFL teams.
Yeah.
Maybe some NBA teams will start doing it, and it's good to see everybody's on board with this movement, and it continues to push forward on all levels, whether it be major soccer level, lower levels. It's just a beautiful thing to see. Everybody's pushing for change.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's like we talked about. It's like being in a union. We've talked about this numerous times. As long as there's unity, can't be stopped, man. Look at what this
Strength.
kid did down in Mississippi. And we're going to talk about that. I forgot about this real quickly. You heard about the kid, Kylan Hill. We talked about that
Yeah.
last week. Mississippi
Right.
State. We had Derwin, Desmond Purnell on, the sportscaster for the CBS station in Dallas, Mississippi State alum. They passed that flag out. They passed the new law now. They're going to take down the flag.
It's
It's going to
amazing.
be put to the people to vote in the fall to vote on the new flag. If it doesn't pass unanimously, or if it doesn't pass, they'll just come up with something, another option there, another some sort of more, I guess another, flag or another arc to it
Mhm.
to sort of redesign it or
He,
whatever.
Right.
you know,
So
he
it's as far
changed.
as
He
now.
made history.
He
You know,
did.
like just if you like, people aren't going to equate it. Maybe once the history books are written out. That's why I think history books are important, because his name should be like a forever part of their history now. because he took
he
a
said
stand.
he would not play at Mississippi State
Yeah,
until that flag came down.
he said he would not play.
And
And
it
when he
came
first
down in a
said,
week.
and when he first said it, think about our reaction. You was like, we were wanting other athletes to help him. We were like, every
Exactly.
other athletes need to join in. Their strength in numbers. Like we were saying it because we knew it needed some backing. But that young man stood firm. And I mean, that's historic. So a lot of historic things are happening, which in 2020 you would have never thought. You kind of almost assume everything's been invented. There's nothing going to be new. There's a lot of history being made in 2020.
Yeah.
Well, you look at it. I mean, he had the head coaches of the two flagship universities there at Ole Miss and Mississippi State. He had Mike Leach and also Lane Kiffin there,
Yeah.
lobbying the lawmakers there. And a very historic day. Stars and Bars no longer the last state to have that Confederate symbol on the state flag. They did, I think, during the passage of the new law, I think they're going to put in God We Trust. That must be a part of the next flag. Nobody's got a problem with that. All we know is the Stars and Bars is down. Go put it in a damn museum somewhere
Right.
and let
Yeah.
your kids go see it.
Yeah.
Antonio, your thoughts on this, man? Mississippi, man, that Kylan Hill kid, he's going to be a star, man. Look, it helps when you're the baddest player on the team.
Yeah.
At least on offense, he's one of the top 2 or 3 running backs in the
Right.
SEC. What you going to do? Not play him?
Right. No question. He
Mike
you know,
Leach ain't stupid.
hey, facts. It
Well,
oftentimes,
he is a little crazy. He's a little back crazy. He ain't that dumb though.
but no, oftentimes, there are very few times in life where you actually have leverage. And he had the leverage and he exercised it. And when you have it, you need to mash and don't take your foot off the gas.
Yep.
And so the fact that he did that and had the courage to do it, and Renee, you're right. We need more players to sort of come around and say, hey, you know what? We're going to build a wall around him, and we're
Right.
all going to push together. And
Yeah.
so that really provides that protection and make sure to a certain extent we don't have Colin Kaepernick situations again.
Right.
And so with that being said, having that collective voice and now having the lane open where you can actually talk about your experiences and how they impacted you, I think we would be crazy to not take advantage of that right now. So again, going back to what we're saying, that as you were saying, Renee, that you can't really judge a player for a player saying that I'm not going to play because I want to continue to mash, or the ones that are saying I'm going to play and use the vehicle to mash.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, keep doing it because the lane is open for you to do it.
Yeah.
And often I can tell you, I didn't think that it would happen in my lifetime. That's for sure.
They've been trying to do this for years, dude.
Yeah.
I worked in Mississippi in 2003 as my second TV job. That was 17 years ago. They finally got rid of the stupid little mascot, Colonel Reb. And that took a lot of will to get that done. This kid got the damn Confederate symbol off the flag in like a week. People have been fighting since the 60s for that.
But hey, listen.
Well, the other thing too is, again, I think we should also make sure that we're being cognizant of the economic benefits of that, because
the NCAA, SEC,
our players are talking about going to HBCUs, right?
Yeah.
They're like, wait a minute, right? We want to make sure that we don't do things to make that transition happen faster.
Oh yeah, no one wants to be on the wrong side. Like at this point, there has been a line drawn in the sand for the world, America, anyone, and it's like either you're on one side or you're on the other. And
what did LeBron say? What did LeBron say?
If you ain't with us, we ain't with you. So listen, the line has been drawn, and I love to see all these businesses, schools, companies, coaches, Coach K. I love to see them. You have to. It's not an option.
It's a new majority.
It's not an option anymore.
It's a beautiful mosaic. It's a collection of all of us here in the United States. So I like that.
Love to see it.
Real quickly, 15 seconds. You want to jump in here? Kylan Hill. That name should resonate throughout this country right now.
No doubt.
Durbin?
Oh yeah, man. Take
He's still punch drunk from that whipping I gave him over.
Oh my goodness!
Anyway,
these guys.
Man, hats off to that young man for stepping up, because maybe somebody else thought of it, but he stepped up. He said he wasn't going to play. They know how valuable he is to that football team. He had the NCAA also adding some pressure with the SEC as well, and that flag came down. Once again, we're in a climate. The climate right now is perfect for us to get wins, and people are just giving it to us. Starbucks, You saw what Starbucks did. They said, no, you can't wear Black Lives Matter.
Well,
Within
you're doing gay
24
pride.
hours,
You're doing gay pride.
yeah, 24 hours, that whole thing flip-flopped and changed. Why? Because they didn't want to be on the wrong side.
You don't want to be on the
Yeah,
wrong
on the
side of
wrong
that line now.
Yeah. So you
Folks
got to
are
get it while
fed
it's hot.
up.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's a little tone deaf on their part because they don't understand that. Look, that gay rights and black rights are
It's
sort of the same.
It's
They're
all
the
about
same boat.
inclusiveness.
Exactly.
Yes, it's about that
Exactly.
word inclusiveness where now you're doing it again, excluding.
Exactly.
Don't do that. Like, it's always like we're like, now,
Right.
now.
Right. Diversify, diversity, and inclusion. You're absolutely correct. Real quickly, you were just speaking on the climate that we're in, Derwin. Very well said by you. Good Trouble. That's also a movie that during the pandemic they couldn't release it back in April or May, so it's coming out now in select theaters and also streaming services on demand as well. Comes out this Friday. We are doing the HBCU takeover, the celebrity stream. The NBA 2K bracket is set. We got 6 teams, a representative from Southern,
Okay.
Langston,
Okay.
Virginia State,
Uh-huh.
Fayetteville State.
Yep.
Who else we got?
Who we got?
Johnson C. Smith.
Johnson C. Smith and
Okay.
Hampton. And Hampton.
Okay.
And they're going to be playing tomorrow night. We're gonna
Uh-huh.
record it and stream it, and then the finals will be played on the stream. The HBCU takeover, the live celebrity show that Renee Montgomery is part of. She is the co-host of it.
Hey, we in there, yeah.
We got some celebrities. Got the mayor of Montgomery swinging by. Got DL Hughley, Bill Bellamy, Malik Yoba. We got a bunch of people that will be a part of this. Cheryl Underwood is going to be a part of this.
Nice.
The president of 100 Black Men already spoke with him. Tommy Dortch, John Lewis. We're hoping, he's had some health issues with cancer. We're hoping that he will be on there. If not, we definitely will have something on tape from him. But that's this Sunday, 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/compete forever, and also on our Facebook, YouTube, and Mixer channels as well. Real quickly, Extra Life. For all you 2K and Madden fans out there, we got a live Madden event that we're doing in conjunction with Access Replay on Extra Life, Phoenix Children's Hospital. It's an open tournament, $1,000 prize pool for both Madden and 2K. You can go to competeforever.com/extralifepch to sign up now. NBA 2K and Madden. What is that, Coach K? July 13th and 14th? Is that right? On those days?
Is, yes.
I think so.
No. So the online qualifier. So
yeah, the
that's
qualifiers.
July
July 13th and 14th. Yep.
No, not, it's just one day.
One day? I thought it was 2.
No, it's one day.
We're doing both games in
One day it is.
That can't be it.
No. So, okay. So, all right. So on the 13th, it's gonna be the online qualifier at 2K, and then the 14th is gonna be for Madden.
Didn't I just say that?
Probably,
no.
but it was so nice they had to say it twice.
Yeah.
So now,
I'm pretty sure I said
so
that.
now we gotta know what are those dates again? We just hammering it home. Hit it for the third time.
July 13th and
man.
14th on online qualifiers for 2K and Madden. Just go on the website. If you want to win $1,000, it'll be virtual. Renee Montgomery will be doing the broadcast with me on the NBA 2K side. Got Tyrone Poole, 2-time Super Bowl champ for the Patriots, doing the Madden with me. We will be in Atlanta doing that. It will all be virtual, so you don't have to go anywhere. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. Lastly, real quickly, because we got no minutes left. Tag on it. We're just going to get me. Compete Forever on Black News Channel nationally this weekend, this Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Yes, that's right. Leading into the weekend, prime news on Black News Channel nationally, Dish Network, also Comcast and Xfinity, and Charter Spectrum cable systems there. Once again, Compete Forever on Black News Channel, our Catskills Challenge this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern, both days. Check it out on Black News Channel. See who's going to win. I believe it was 4 or 5 guys down to the final. See who wins the prize pool, the money, and the other prizes on Black News Channel. That's all I got. Any last thoughts real quickly, because Renee is going to kill us.
No, just prayers for John Lewis, like even if he can't make it, just prayers that for his health.
Well, we definitely saw him in D.C. when they were painting the Black Lives Matter on the street.
Yeah.
He was there. So we definitely saw him there. So hopefully the good congressman is doing well. But that's a fascinating film, a documentary about the life and times of the great iconic civil rights activist and also great congressman from the state of Georgia. Antonio, any last thoughts from you, brother?
No, the same thing. Just want to make sure that we say all the prayers that we can for Congressman Lewis, and also to again, I like to say that we certainly should, for the people that fight for us, for the people that have advanced the ball for us, we should certainly give them their flowers while they're with us.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is something that we should do better as a people. Instead of celebrating
Yeah.
people when they're gone, let's do it
Right.
while they're
Yeah.
still here, man. Absolutely. Especially someone like John Lewis, man, that's been arrested over 40-something times and marched with Martin Luther King Jr.
It's a
and
badge of
teaching us
honor.
all,
No
teaching
question.
us all to get
No
into some
question.
good trouble. And that's a
Right.
very good
Yeah.
thing. Durbin, any last thoughts, dude? We're a minute over.
Prayers for John, for Lewis, and prayers for everyone battling COVID-19. Hopefully,
Absolutely.
they'll
True.
find a
Yeah.
remedy here soon, and everyone stay safe.
Yeah, we need some therapeutics, and hopefully, man, this vaccine is coming hopefully beginning of the year, man. But you're definitely right. We've lost like 127,000 of our fellow Americans, man. It's been rough, man.
Yeah.
Over 500,000, I believe, across the world. So hopefully, like I said, we can these companies can band together and come up with a cure, a therapeutic, and a vaccine. All right, that'll do it here, guys. Thanks for watching esportsXTRA. Kevin Mamuzet pushing all the right buttons as usual. Antonio Williams, thanks for
Yes,
joining us,
sir.
brother. We gotta have you back, man.
No, for sure. I do it whenever you guys want me. I appreciate
Don't
it.
play. We'll call you. Don't
All
do
right.
that.
All right.
Don't do that. We will call you.
Don't
Okay.
don't
I'm gonna
threaten us
do
with
it.
a good time.
I was about to say, you know how black folks are. We will take you up on that.
Let's do
Hey.
it. I love being amongst my folks. And again, thank you for sharing the platform with me. Looking forward to doing it again. And everybody, you all stay safe as well.
If it ain't free, it ain't
Thank
me,
you,
man.
you
We're
too.
going to hit you up, dude. This is
All right.
We're gonna hit you up. Durbin, thank you, man. And I appreciate it, man. Be safe, man. It's great that, once again, awesome job, man, how you and your wife took your kid to go vote, dude. That is Americana right there, brother. That's like freaking apple
Yeah.
pie right there, broski. So how about you? Renee, hey, Antonio, at the end of the show, she's the queen.
Oh no.
We always put up the 2-time because she lives in the A, and she's a 2-time WNBA champ. You got to throw him
Antonio,
up,
if you don't want to
Throw him
have to,
up.
okay, he's a good sport.
Good,
He's a
keep
good
him up.
sport.
There we go.
All
There we
right.
go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. We'll see you. Larry Ridley here for Duran Worrell, Antonio Williams, Renee Montgomery, Kevin Mamadzet. So long. Good night from the tri-state area, from Dallas, from Brooklyn, and from the A. We'll see you Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here. More esports extra. Have a good night, guys.